sessions that were consolidated into one. This where they kept the lifters separate. And with that, it'll bring out our first lifter for the day, Ernestina Familia of the Dominican Republic. 88 kilos for her opening snatch attempt.
Yeah, just a bit out front on that one. Looks like she didn't quite finish on that turnover. You know, which is it's funny when we see this for the athlete. I know mine at home. You know, it feels great off the floor. They're coming through the hips, and they so focused on the pull, second pull, the elevation of the barbell, they forget that it's not over, right? There's more to it. We refer to it colloquially as the third pull. While you are getting under the bar, you're still pulling on that and getting a fast turnover. It looked like that's the only thing she was missing on that.
And when we watched that replay from the side, Danny, I would agree with you 100% there. I think off the ground actually looked very strong, but not that quick, rapid lockout. Just lost a little bit of tension throughout her body there on that, I think.
Yeah, and you know, first attempt snatch is the most emotionally driven lift, every meet for every athlete. And it's so because the snatch is not a very forgiving lift, right? I mean, the finesse and the window of error is very, very small compared to the clean and jerk. But the athletes are anxious, they're ready to go. They can't wait to get out there, and you know, they're met with their very first one. So my guess is she's going to make it easily on the second.
All right, 88 kilograms still on the bar, lifter from the Dominican Republic. Well, your prediction comes true.
Yeah, very common. Very common. Something that's also common. In this case, she missed the first attempt forward. The athlete could overcorrect and be so afraid of doing it again that they miss behind. I'm glad that didn't happen here. Now you're down to one attempt, and you're hoping third time's a charm. But you know, the amount of stress for these athletes, you know, the mental game is just so huge, so important for them.
And the added challenge with this session is we have a pretty good spacing of attempts here. We have athletes beginning between 88 kilograms and it looks like up to 102 kilograms, which is a pretty big margin. So the session's probably going to get off to a little bit of a slower start. Some lifters might be following themselves, some 2-minute clocks. We've seen in some of the more tightly packed sessions where the lifters are, you know, opening very close together, a much more rapid pace, and I think this is going to be a little bit of a slower pace session to start.
Yeah, and coaches and athletes need to account for that. You know, the longer you're engaged in the sport, the longer you coach this sport in the back, when you're timing the warm-ups for the athletes, time really no longer is the unit of measurement that we use. We use drops. Actual attempts, and so you count drops as kind of that unit of measurement. And so when you're in the scenario where you have an athlete following themselves, you need to account for that in your timing, or else you're going to be finished with your warm-up and still have too much time to wait.
Certainly. Well, the lifter who will be coming out now, also from the Dominican Republic, her teammate Mercedes Montes, opening at 91 kilograms. Solid looking opener for her. I like the patience there in the bottom of the snatch, and we're going to watch that replay from the side here.
Yeah, I was going to just mention that was a great stabilization. I teach my athletes right here, do not stand until you know you secure it. If that confidence, if that certainty happens immediately, well then fine, get up right away, and then to the audience it looks so easy because they're down and up. However, the rule that I teach my athletes is you're not allowed to stand up or try until you know you have stabilized it, regardless of the amount of time it takes.
All right, that will bring up, it looks like Familia for her second attempt at 92 kilograms, 4-kilo jump.
Looks like a change is being made.
Right, so the lifter will be Familia, 92 kilograms. I think this is a pretty smart jump here, 4 kilos after missing her opener, making that second attempt. You don't want to go too crazy here.
Yeah, and with this weight class and above, you see jumps like this, and they're reasonable, whereas the lighter weight classes tend to take smaller increases.
Yeah, certainly. And, you know, Danny, I think your prediction comes true a little bit. She missed that first snatch in front, makes the second one, but overpulls this one, I think.
Yeah, that's an overcorrection. Honestly, I thought she was going to be able to stabilize that one before standing up. But it's just, you know, the weight is heavy. I mean, these athletes should be submaximal or maximal attempts. And if you're just off by a little bit, or there's a little bit of momentum going the wrong way, it's just too heavy to change your mind.
The lift will become Crystal Narlum of Canada, looking at 93 kilograms. All right, solid opener for her. She is as a little bit of background, just 22 years old, but recently had a birthday, but a long resume. She's a 5-time junior world team member. She's been to a senior worlds.
And the senior Pan Ams. I remember her from last year in Cartagena, Colombia. I remember watching her compete. She was a 69 back then, though. Looks like she went up here for the 75.
Well, her heaviest snatch that she made in Cartagena as a 69 was 89 kilograms, so already above that.
Yeah.
Obviously filling into that new weight class well with some additional strength. And now we have Tamara Salazar of Ecuador.
Easy.
Can't draw it up any better than that one.
No, and you know, you're watching this at home and you're going, man, that was so much faster than maybe other lifters that we're watching, the speed. But you know what makes a lift look fast at this weight isn't how much they pull or how fast they pull, it's how fast they get under the barbell.
All right, this will bring up our second lifter from Canada in this session, Marie Bouchemont. Apologies if I'm mispronouncing that one a little bit. She's a 2-time Olympian.
Solid.
Great opener for her. Yeah, she is a 2-time Olympian. Her first senior worlds back in 2006. She's been on 8 senior world teams, 2 junior world teams, 2 Olympic Games, and she was last year's bronze medalist at this competition in Cartagena.
Very long history there.
But it's 69 kilograms, so she has gone up.
Yeah, this is a very good class, very competitive class. You know, I have one of my own that is a reserved for Team USA, and we had hoped that we would be used. She would have been competing, and this is one of the reasons I wanted to commentate. One of my coaches, Jennifer Lester, is her primary coach and works more with her. She would have been in the back warming our lifter, Taylor Stallings, as I commentated. But when you look at the start list, USAW made the decision they were going to keep her as a reserve backup and not play her, so to speak. If you will. So luckily for us, we were entered into the American Open Series 2 later this weekend, so we will still get a meet in, we will still get a total in, which is, you know, we're hoping helps her get ranked for the Worlds later on this year.
And the Worlds, I'd like to talk a little bit more about that and what it means for that to be back on U.S. soil right after we have Alejandra Garza of Mexico take her first attempt here. All right, 3 white lights. Watch that one again from the side. And, you know, Danny, I've made the mistake on the live stream a few times this week saying this is the premier weightlifting competition in the Western Hemisphere this year. It's not entirely correct. It's the premier competition for the Pan American Federation.
Yes.
But the Worlds is later this year in Anaheim, California, which means we have back-to-back World Championships on U.S. soil for the first time in several decades.
Yeah, yeah, and you're not entirely incorrect when you say this is the premier one, and I'm going to tell you why. This one here scores points for every country towards the Pan Am Games 2019, whereas the Worlds later on this year on U.S. soil is a pointless championship. Next year at the Worlds, they'll begin scoring points.
All right, here we go. Mercedes Montez, second attempt.
There's that stabilization I mentioned earlier.
I love that. I want to see that one again from the side. Much like her first attempt, a lot of maturity there on the platform, really taking her time in the bottom to stabilize, something that I know you teach your athletes.
Yeah, and it's so, it's a bit of a paradox, right? Because we want to teach speed, you want to teach power, control, yet you got to be patient, relax, and don't be in a rush to do it.
Weightlifting is a sport of paradoxes.
Yeah.
It's speed, it's strength, it's aggression, but it's control, it's fine, tiny little movements. It's a game of millimeters.
Yes, and finesse. And you know, there's a lot of that, you know, especially when we're talking about speed. You know, athletes learn very early that speed is important. You know, it shouldn't be taught, in my opinion, as a coach, it should not be taught too early because mechanics, positions, geometry is much more important at the beginning when an athlete is learning. Speed comes through their development. So they pick it up, you know, very early on, and they know it. But it's when to be fast, when to be speedy, and at the right times. Otherwise, it becomes a very wild and uncontrolled movement.
All right, this will bring up Marie-Eve Bouchamin of Canada, her second attempt. She is one of the more, if not the most veteran lifter on the Canadian squad.
Decorated
this week. Like we said earlier, first Senior Worlds was back in 2006. That was in the Dominican Republic in Santo Domingo, where she was competing as a 69 kilogram lifter, and she has gone back and forth between the 69 kilogram and 75 kilogram classes a few times. We do have a change, and that means the lifter will become Mercedes Montez of the Dominican Republic.
And David, I have a question for you. In
Hopefully I have an answer.
Commentating all weekend long and learning more and more about all the athletes, how many times do you see, or how many of them had some origin with CrossFit?
Now that's Danny, that's a fantastic question. Something I want to get into here after our next lifter. Diana Chirinos of Venezuela. She does have the highest posted start total. Right, it's a good lift for her, and the heaviest we've ever seen her go before in the snatch was back in 2013. She snatched 100 kilograms as a 75 kilogram lifter. She went back down to 69, but is now up back into that 75 kilogram weight category. And this will bring up Crystal Narlam. And Danny, I haven't forgotten about your question.
Yeah, that's okay.
It is a good one.
I mean, I pretty much, I can guess at what that answer is after this lift. Just a little up front.
Yeah, let's watch that lift again, and I'll get to Danny's question as we're watching that lift from Narlam again from the side. Danny asked me, you know, over the course of the weekend, having done research and Matt worked with some of these lifters, what percentage come from a CrossFit background, it's actually a pretty low percentage here, maybe a lower percentage than I would have guessed before the competition, and it seems to be still pretty much concentrated in the United States and Canada, with a few exceptions.
Yeah, yeah. I suppose the question would have a different answer. We're talking nationally. I suppose internationally, many of these athletes are specialized.
Right, Tamara Salazar of Ecuador, second attempt, 97 kilograms. Good lift for her. Now, Danny, that question might have a different answer actually if we were talking about a European competition.
Yeah.
Maybe even a Pacific competition. You know, I know a lot of Australia's top weightlifters right now do come from CrossFit backgrounds. Tia Claire Toomey, who has gotten second at the CrossFit Games the past 2 years, actually represented Australia at the Rio Olympics.
Yeah.
Pip Malone is another one of their top lifters who comes from a CrossFit Games background.
Right. No lift.
And Danny, for the folks at home who might be new to weightlifting, as we watch that lift again from the front, if possible, maybe you can explain to the folks back home exactly why that's a no lift.
Absolutely. Well, the rule states during an attempt, the only part of the body that is allowed to touch the platform are the feet. The knee cannot come down, an elbow cannot come down, or any other part of the body. So once you see that, there's no point in the athletes pursuing the lift any further. You have to let it go.
All right, the lifter from Canada now. Her international PR is 105 kilograms, which she did at the Commonwealth Championship in 2014.
That speed under.
And also exhibiting that patience at the bottom of the snatch that you really emphasize. Let's watch that one again from the side. I mean, her lifts have looked great today. You know, one thing that is relatively new that you might not have seen a few years ago in competition, and we see it with her, is the full sleeves.
Yes, yeah, it's permitted now.
That used not to be permitted in weightlifting competition.
Right, and the reason why it was once considered illegal to cover the elbows is the judges need to make sure, with absolute certainty, you have full lockout. And there's no violation.
Right, Alejandra Garza, second attempt of Mexico. It's been a little while since we saw her at her first attempt at 95 kilos. Not quite able to lock that one out overhead. Yeah, that was a change in the IWF rulebook. Lifters are now permitted to wear, it has to be forming kind of to the skin, but they are allowed to cover their arms.
Yeah, you know, you said it earlier at the beginning of the session. It was a slow start, and it is picked up. I mean, it's like rapid fire attempts that are coming out. In this case, now we're on a 2-minute clock, so it'll feel like it's slowed down. But up until this moment, we're really picking up there. 10 athletes is considered, you know, a small session for people at home that may not know that. You know, nationally, USAW does their best to try to keep sessions, you know, under 15. You know, for the athletes, for the coaches, and for the volunteers or referees, you don't want them too long. You know, 3-hour sessions become quite strenuous on everyone. So you are better off running multiple sessions a day with fewer athletes in them. So looking at the board now with this session of 10 women, it's moving pretty quick. It'll be over before they even know it, and there's not many attempts left on the board.
Yeah, we are probably looks like a little bit over halfway through the snatch portion of the competition today, and with that, it'll be Mercedes Montes coming out for her third and final attempt. She's 2 for 2 so far, so this is to go 3 for 3 on the day, 8 kilos up on her opener. It's been a pretty nice snatch sequence so far for her.
Great fight.
Let's check that one again from the side, but really impressed with her lifting today.
Yeah, 2-1 decision for for her. There's a great deal of concentration prior to a lift that every athlete experiences and have to produce, which also leads to a routine that they have. And let me tell you something, Dave, if you didn't know this, or people at home don't know this, weightlifters are very superstitious. We are the most superstitious athletes. We have a routine. We like things a certain way, and we follow that routine, that regimen, setting up for the barbell, chalking up, walking out. And if something throws that off, I'm telling you, it can just throw off your mental game.
Well, Danny, after Alejandro Garza's third attempt, I'm going to ask you about your particular habits and rituals as an athlete.
It could be the same mistake from the first one.
That'll be a no lift for Garza. She'll be credited with her opener at 95. Now, we have seen her do as much as 105 kilograms in the snatch. That was this competition last year. She did bomb in the clean and jerk at that competition, but she also did 98 at the 2016 Rio Olympics. So probably not the day she was hoping for, but we'll see her come back out for the clean and jerk. So, Danny, you talk about weightlifters being superstitious.
Yeah, I know I was one of them. I had a set routine, and I followed it to a T. Many times without thought. It was just a habit, a method of approaching and addressing the barbell. I actually developed it from the training and the equipment I had. Looks like that when she kind of lost her shoulders, it looked like she had it in place. And when I say lost the shoulders, meaning the stability of them, if she could have maintained that upper back, that thoracic area, just solid, she loses it right there. And it was more of a stability thing, I would think, than a strength issue.
Yeah, she is a 2015 World Team member. She actually snatched 105 kilograms in Houston on her opening attempt. So certainly something we've seen her do on the international stage before. But she still has 2 more attempts, and with that, we'll see. I think she'll be following herself. 2 minutes on the clock.
Yeah, David, I love the fact that you all have, over the years now, included images of the back warm-up area. I'm going to admit that by nature, weightlifting is not a great spectator sport unless you know what's going on. And in the back warm-up area where decisions are being made, strategies are unfolding, that's really where the excitement is. The athletes go out there and actually execute.
Right, Monique Lima of Brazil, second attempt.
Stabilize.
Great fight on that lift.
Good save.
All right, 3 white lights. Let's check out that replay from the side. That was a great fight for Lima.
And beginners, intermediate, they might mistake this struggle for a miss, but she didn't. You can tell she's experienced and know the difference between a struggle and a miss. Once athletes figure that out, I think they become much more successful.
All right, the lift will become Fuentes of Mexico. She was a bronze medalist at the Pan Ams last year in Cartagena. Actually snatched 103 kilograms on her third attempt there. All right, solid opener for Fuentes of Mexico. Yeah, Danny, thank you for that comment about our multi-camera setup here while we're watching the replay from Fuentes. That's actually a big credit to the folks at USA Weightlifting, including Scott Crunk, who runs the live streaming for USA Weightlifting.
Love it.
Seems to get better and better with each competition. All right, Chirinos of Venezuela.
David, we have a battle going on here, man.
We certainly do. We have a tight grouping here in these attempts, and still a lifter yet to make an appearance on stage, actually. All right, and with that, she will move into first place in the snatch. Still a number of lifts yet to go, and Danny, you know, last session was the men's 85. Oh, sorry, this moves her to second place. She was the second to take 101.
Which brings up the fact that tiebreakers now have nothing to do with body weight. I have been in the sport 28 years as athlete and coach, and this is the first year body weight is a non-issue. It's whoever did it first. So with that 101, everyone has got to do a 102 or better to overtake her.
So here is Salazar of Ecuador. This is to move into third place in the snatch, but with plenty of attempts yet to come. Oh, misses it behind. Let's watch that one again from the front. So that would have taken her into bronze medal position, but with a number of attempts left to come, she probably wouldn't have held it.
Maybe not. You can assume so. You predict so. You plan for it so, but you really never know. Much of the board is run by coaches who are exercising their best guess.
All right, well, this will bring up the second attempt for Fuentes of we have a change. Marie-Eve Bouchamin of Canada, 102 kilograms, something we have seen her do before in competition. Again, we've seen her go as high as 110. That was at the Commonwealth Championships back in 2014, so it's been a little bit.
This would temporarily put her into first place snatch, if I'm not mistaken.
That's correct, yeah. She's the first lifter to attempt 102 kilograms in this session.
Oh, that's a close one.
Not quite there today. Let's check out that from the side. Maybe she might have lost a little bit in front, but never got really to stable lockout overhead there. So
yeah, it looked like great amount of elevation, a ton of elevation. What's missing is aim, perhaps. Directional.
Yeah.
Just a little bit further back behind her head, probably would have locked it in.
And we talk about how much of a battle we have going on here now that we're, in the last handful of attempts here. In the previous session, which was the men's 85 kilogram A session, only 6 kilograms separated first from sixth in the snatch.
Wow. That's very close.
That's how tightly grouped they were.
Yeah. Every lift counts.
Every lift counts, especially at a competition like this, which is a points scoring competition.
Yes. Now for Nacy here, on her first attempt was this 103. This will put her into gold position temporarily. The remaining girls must go up 1 kilo to 104 to have a shot to overtake her if she makes this opening attempt. Easy.
And fantastic technician there for the lifter from Ecuador. That looked great.
104 is going to be the call. Has to be the call. If it's out of reach for an athlete with one attempt left, they can tie with that 103, but they place behind Nacy.
So Nacy de Homez is the current junior world champion. She actually snatched 108 kilograms at the Junior Worlds in Tokyo early this year. She was also a youth world champion in 2013. And she was a 2012 Olympian. She finished in 6th place at the Rio Olympics, but as a 69 kilogram lifter. So certainly someone who's used to, even at a young age, even with a year left of eligibility as a junior, used to the spotlight. Now we have Monique Lima, her third and final attempt at 103.
She didn't waste any time setting up, did she?
Let's watch that one again, and Danny, you're right. Look how quick her setup is. Some
Yeah.
lifters take their time. They'll hover over the barbell for a while. She kind of just grips it and goes.
Grip and
1,
rip.
2, 3. There we go.
And gone. And you know that helps athletes who know and have accepted the fact that they overthink.
There are a lot of those.
Yeah, there's a lot of those. I mean, not implying she's one of them, but I know that's a technique that I have used with my athletes who are sitting there hanging over the barbell and they're just overthinking the process. I tell them, just get set, grip, and go.
All right. Fuentes of Mexico, her second attempt, 104 on the barbell. Our bronze medalist from 2016. Ooh. Check that one from the side. Was worried that might come down on her, actually.
Yep.
She got out of the way, though.
Yeah, bailed out properly. Interestingly enough, you can tell the difference between a beginner and an experienced athlete, not only by their technique, but also by the way they miss.
Just like everything else in weightlifting, something you got to learn.
Yeah, you got to, coaches should spend some time teaching their athletes how to bail out correctly and miss correctly. It is possible to not do so and that the bar come down on you and cause injury.
All right, now we have Diana Chirinos of Venezuela, 104 kilograms, her third and final attempt. This would take her to 3 for 3 on the day for the snatch, and at least temporarily would put her in first place.
Yeah, she's fourth right now. So this decision clearly is to set her up.
Oh,
There's that knee again. No lift, that was close. She's sitting in fourth, stays in fourth in the snatch event, but would have been gold with that one.
I mean, that was a gutsy effort, a very good effort, but
well, game's not over for her. She's still got cleaning jerks.
no, that's true. She will have to settle for no medal in the snatch, but again, we're so tightly grouped here. She's not far behind as far as heading into the clean and jerk, like you said, Danny, and still has an opportunity to medal in the total and the clean and jerk. And now we have Fuentes of Mexico. This would put her into first place, currently sitting in third. No lift, so she will be credited with her opener at 101. She was the first lifter to take 101, so she is sitting in third and is guaranteed
A medal.
the medal. Yeah.
Yeah.
And that also means that Monique Lima of Brazil is guaranteed a medal, and we actually have our podium already with just one lift. Nacy de Homez of Ecuador has secured the gold, so this is really just to give her a little more cushion heading into the clean and jerk.
Yeah. Yeah, and when coaches and athletes are in this scenario, when it's a great feeling to just open up and be in the lead. You have now these two attempts to do as you wish. You can use strategy, or if there's a personal goal the athlete may have, I think it's most appropriate to go for it if they wish.
Her international PR, by the way, is 108 kilograms, so depending on how this attempt goes, we could see her working to break that.
Yeah, and as I said before, all these athletes are at sub-maximal, if not maximal effort here.
Wow.
Just as easy as the first one.
All right, I think we will probably see her go for a PR with this next lift. Now that looked, this is how you do it. All right, so she is following herself, and this will bring us to the last lift of the session. We now know the podium in the snatch. It is de Homez of Ecuador, followed by Lima of Brazil, and in third place, Fuentes of Mexico.
It's going to be interesting to see what they choose for her.
This is, by the way, at 108 kilograms. This would be Sorry, they're going to 110.
Yeah.
If successful, she does own the Pan American Junior record in the snatch. If successful, this would set a new Junior Pan American record in the snatch. She would break her own record.
And that's why they're going for that digit. It's, you know, before we went live, you and I were discussing decisions that coaches make. People at home are always puzzled by it. Sometimes, you know, yesterday I had an athlete compete, and I was asked multiple times my rationale for choosing what I did. It was strategy, despite the fact that she looked like she could have done more. And so you're looking at this. There's always a reason these things are getting chosen for the athlete behind the scenes. And you just can't take it for face value. You just always have to believe that the coaches back there, and they have an agenda, they have a plan. And here it is with this 110. She doesn't need it for the win. She's already in the lead by a decent margin, but it's clearly for a record. So, you know, not going to lose out of a medal from it. Might as well go for it.
We've seen a lot of great Pan American record attempts this week, including a few new Pan American records. So this would be one of them. Final lift of the session.
New record.
And with that, she just makes it look easy. New Junior Pan American record in the snatch, 110 kilograms. What a great way.
Good for her.
To finish this women's 75 kilogram.
Yeah, 10-minute break now,
session. Yep, we are going to a 10-minute break, but I will be back with Danny Camargo, head coach of Camargo Oli Concepts, or just Oli Concepts now.
Oli Concepts now,
yeah. It's been, as the slick new rebrand says. So thanks so much for tuning in. Don't go anywhere. We'll be back in 10 minutes. This would be, as far as we know, an international competition best for her. She did 114 kilograms at the 2015 World Weightlifting Championships in Houston, so has clearly put on some strength since that competition a little under 2 years ago. Let's see how she fares here.
Great catch. Bit of a struggle on the stand-up. Jerk looked easy.
All right, that'll be a good lift for Familia. Yeah, Danny, you know, this is an athlete. She's in territory we haven't seen her in before as far as the lifts. She is one of the older athletes in this session, 33 years old.
As we're watching this replay, you guys can see there at home, that bit of a helicopter spin she takes is legal, actually, so long as that when you're stopped and the buzzer indicates you may drop the bar, you're on this. I see a bit of a right arm there. Going back to that helicopter spin, as long as you're in the same plane when they give you the buzzer to.
All right, let's see that again from the front, if possible. That was
I saw a right arm on that one.
Mercedes Montez. Let's see if we can see what the judges saw here. I would agree with that. I think that we're going to see right here on the replay. Obviously, I think the judges are going to call her for,
and there it is. You know, and for those at home who may not know, at these championships, at any championship, all A sessions include a jury of referees. They aim to have 5. Today it looks like there's 3. There has to be an odd number. And these are referees who referee the referees, if you know what I mean. They judge the judges. And so if there is a call that the 3 primary judges make that may be questionable by this jury, they have a meeting, they may overturn it, good or bad.
It's generally something we more often see the jury overturn a lift that goes against the lifter,
yes.
but during this competition we've seen it the other way.
The other
They've
way.
actually awarded the lifter a lift, and right now Mercedes Montez of the Dominican Republic, second attempt, 115 kilos. Clean was no problem on her opener here.
Better right arm on that one.
All right, 3 white lights, 4, so she's on, makes the corrections, more solid punch out. She's on the board with 115 kilos.
Yeah, you mentioned that you've seen a few instances where the jury overturned the original call in favor of the athletes. David, when that happens, it's like winning the lottery.
It's like winning the lottery from. I was going to add something to it, but I can't think of anything better.
It's just you feel like you need to go play the lottery after that. Rarely happens. But you know, it's an extra assurance because for those at home that may not know, there is no disputing, there is no replay. You're at the mercy of human judgment, human error, and there is, and sometimes you're not even told what a decision, the reason the decision may have gone against you. You, as a coach, must know and are expected to know what that error may have been, so you can correct it on the athlete.
All right. Tamara Salazar of Ecuador. 118 kilograms.
Adjustment there to get a more comfortable squat up, and that jerk was just super easy.
That was beautiful, yeah. Really great jerk. That's almost textbook there. So she's on the board, and that we'll watch a quick replay of that lift. Watch her punch out on the jerk here.
Yeah, and before then, you see this double bounce of the clean. Right here, she sits back. That's a balance thing. If she didn't adjust, she may have fallen down on her and had to take a seat on the platform and have to bail out of the bar.
All right, this will bring up Monique Lima. She is your silver medalist in the snatch. Missed her opener in the snatch, made her final 2 attempts to finish in the silver medal position in that portion of today's competition. Opening at 118 in the clean and jerk, the lifter from Brazil. Looked like she kind of finished that behind the bar on the jerk there.
Yeah, I'm studying the athlete there. I can't quite figure that was a technical error on her part. Maybe she got dizzy and really just didn't get set. I honestly think she went into that jerk kind of quickly. She power cleans it there, sets up in a very short period of time. She's driving into the jerk. Her reaction afterwards, I don't know, she's grabbing her wrist. Maybe there's an injury there or there's something plaguing her.
All right, so she will be 2-minute clock on her. She'll be following herself. Yeah, she really. Okay, there is a change. She will go up, but you're right, Danny. She really went quickly there, and after a power clean, I mean, I know myself. Obviously, I'm not an athlete of this caliber, but I always have a tendency to just kind of want to get it over with.
Yes, I was the same way. I was never an athlete who can hold that rack position very long. I have athletes in my gym that will stand up from a clean, get set for the jerk, and they're breathing, and they're thinking, and they're breathing, and you're sitting there, and you're waiting, and you're waiting, and then they finally go for the jerk and smoke it. I was not one of these athletes, so I tend to rush at times. But having said that, when I have an athlete who's experiencing some dizzy spells from the top of the clean, usually from the placement of the barbell, I tell them never to sit there and hope it goes away.
It's only going to get worse.
Yeah, so take the lift, and that may have been what happened to her.
All right, Crystal Narlum of Canada, opening attempt at 120.
Yeah, there's a bit of a drive forward and push out that barbell.
All right, 3 white lights.
Yeah, it's highly recommended you teach the athlete your tip and drive, propelling that barbell from shoulders to the overhead position is actually not literally straight up, though a coach may say straight up, straight up. It's not literally straight up. It's really supposed to be up and a bit back. That's where you want to drive and send the bar. She seems to have done the reverse. It looks like up and forward.
All right, let's bring up Alejandra Garza of Mexico, opening at 120 kilograms. Now, Garza, a veteran athlete and Olympian from Rio. We have seen her do up to 127 kilograms at this body weight, which was at the World Weightlifting Championships in Houston. Oh, yeah, never really had much of a shot at that overhead. Let's see it again from the front. You can see as she lands in that split position, her arms are actually very crooked. One's significantly more extended than the other, and I mean, not only would that be called as a press out, just physically almost impossible to recover from with that kind of weight overhead. Watch right there.
Yeah.
All right, and this will bring up the second attempt for Ernestina Familia. She was successful with her opener at 115, taking a 5-kilo jump. And now we're moving pretty quickly. Now we're seeing athletes with a tighter grouping as far as weight and requests here.
Very wide grip, which is common.
All right, 2 red lights against. Let's see that again from the front. She seems a little surprised by that, but I think I did see some soft elbows there, Danny. Curious what you think here.
I did too. I couldn't tell the first time around. I'm about to confirm here if it was more shoulders, which is legal. Your shoulders are allowed to move and deviate, but the elbows cannot. Yeah, slightly on that right one, so I think you're correct on your first glance.
All right, this will bring up Monique Lima. She is, again, your silver medalist in the snatch, but missed her opening clean and jerk at 118. She's gone up 2 kilos.
Tough clean. If she's got legs left, this will be an easy jerk. Setting up much longer than the first time around.
And it looks like she got a little lightheaded there.
Grabbing her wrist again. I think there may be an issue there, David, with that area of her arms and her body. Looks like maybe something's bothering her. If you remember her first attempt, we both felt she rushed it. She took much longer this time. And this view that people at home are seeing, this side view, I actually prefer it most when I'm coaching on my floor. Coaching period, I early in my coaching career, I was really focused on body positions, and then over time, I really got more focused on bar path.
All right, well, that'll bring up Alejandra Garza for her second attempt, 120 kilograms. We've seen Garza do this weight before. She finished with 126 at the Olympic Games. Solid lift?
Yeah, still a little forward. Again, I think I saw that on her first attempt. If we can go back to Brazil, we'll go back to that topic. Monique, yeah, she's on her third attempt. She's going to have to make that one when she comes up here in a few, or she'll be disqualified, a.k.a. bomb out.
All right, you see the replay from Garza, and this will bring up Ernestina Familia for her third and final attempt. Yeah, let's see that from the side. It looks like just kind of collapsed there on the clean. The bar might have crashed on her a bit.
Yeah, definitely want to look at it again, because at first take, I'm going to say she knew she was going to struggle. Maybe she was off in a position, and she knew fighting it just wasn't going to be worth it, and had to bail out. Yeah, that thing looked like it was going forward. And that's what I said earlier on. I think I said it in the snatch. You can tell the difference between a beginner or an intermediate and an advanced lifter by the way that they miss. And people at home are probably looking at that miss saying, she had it. Where did she go wrong? But, these experienced athletes, they know. They know way ahead of time. This is a goner, and there's no need to save this one. And it's not giving up. It's actually athletic maturity.
Yeah, and reducing maybe the risk of injury.
Yeah.
Instead of catching it in a position that could cause some injury or strain. And with that, we have Monique Lima of Brazil. This is a do-or-die attempt for her. This is to avoid a bomb out and score points in the clean and jerk in total for Team Brazil.
Oh, that's a shame. That's a shame. She's hurting. There's something there that's wrong. And you look at this and you think, was that the proper weight for her to have begun and open with? I'm going to say yes. You're at a championship. You can be conservative at times, but you have to be aggressive as well. And it looks like there was just something wrong with her wrist.
Yeah.
More so than it was a poor call on the coach's part on the amount of weight. I think the weight was light for her, just not her day.
All right, and this will bring up Mercedes Montes of the Dominican Republic, her third and final attempt at 121 kilograms.
Strong legs to come out of that.
Ooh.
Knee hit the ground. As I mentioned earlier, the only thing that's allowed to touch the ground from the athlete are the feet.
All right, that'll be a no lift for her, and she will finish with a 214 kilo total. Currently sitting in third overall. Very likely to change, given that we have 4 lifters yet to make an appearance and several more active.
David, do you remember earlier when I said in snatch that I teach my athletes to stabilize on snatch before you stand up? There's an asterisk to that. Not in clean and jerk. Do not wait at the bottom. You got one shot. So as you get it to the shoulders and you take that rebound, try to stand up. Stabilization is a little less of a priority in the clean, given where it's resting, as opposed to the snatch when it's overhead.
All right, we see that wide regrip here for Diana, and that is a good lift. And Danny, you're someone who has a lot of international experience, both as an athlete, as a coach. You've been around the sport for a long time. We'll see that again on the replay here. Something that you really only see among Pan American countries, this wide regrip on the jerk. Talk about that a little bit, if you don't mind.
I started that on a previous athlete in clean and jerk. I said, wow, wide grip, but is quite common in Latin American countries as a style. You'll see it with European athletes as well, but really predominantly the Colombians are very well known for that, and the method at which they adjust to the wider grip. There's pros and cons to it. It's a shorter bar path to travel, but you are at risk of stabilizing and having problems with stabilization.
All right, Tamara Salazar of Ecuador here.
Great timing.
And again, a bit of a wider grip here, not as wide as we've seen. Okay, she needs to bring her feet together. Let's see that again from the front. That was some fancy footwork.
Great save. Only experience proved that result right there. A beginner or someone who is fairly new might mistake that, struggle for a miss. I like her timing on the barbell here, how quickly she's able to stand up. But she loses some balance right there.
Doing kind of the crane pose there a little bit. But she is able to bring her feet together with the barbell overhead, body in line, and it is a good lift. And this will bring out Marie-Eve Bouchamin of Canada, a veteran weightlifter, someone who has been a member of, well, you can't really count them on one hand. She's been a member of that many international teams.
Yeah.
or can't count them on two hands even.
Our decorated athlete here this session.
And a two-time Olympian. Now, I want to point out she finished in 6th overall after the snatch, but is very much in contention here for a total medal. That's how closely packed this session is.
She's so fast getting on the barbell. She illustrated that on snatch. And in clean and the jerk. Quick underneath the barbell.
She's a pro.
Yeah.
She is every bit a pro. That was a fantastic lift.
Yeah, I tell my athletes and I teach when I begin promoting speed with a developing athlete. And like I said earlier in snatch, you can't do it too early in their learning. You have to do it at the right time. I tell them, I reassure them that speed doesn't come in the pulling or the pushing of the barbell. The speed we see is in the catch when the bar is weightless. On the clean, none of us can be really fast pulling and elevating. It's heavy. You're not going to elevate it very quickly. It's buying yourself time and getting under it before that bar can descend back to the platform.
All right, well, we have some changes here, and we actually might see a little bit of jockeying for position and on attempts here, as these athletes are grouped pretty tightly here with two athletes yet to make an appearance on the stage in the clean and jerk portion. And if you're just tuning in, this is the 2017 Pan American Weightlifting Championships, brought to you by the Pan American Weightlifting Federation, broadcast by USA Weightlifting, and with color commentary courtesy of barbent.com. For Barbent, I'm David Tao, and I'm joined on the color commentary by the head and founder of Team Oli Concepts, Danny Camargo. And with that, we have Fuentes of Mexico, opening at 125 kilograms.
Solid.
Pretty good looking. Had to chase it a little bit on the clean, but nothing too crazy, nothing she wasn't able to handle, and very strong overhead. We have 10 athletes in this session. We have 7 still active with attempts left.
Yep.
And of those 7, all of them are basically in contention for a medal of some sort.
Yeah, whether clean and jerk or the total, which is the end goal, right? And, you know, when athletes either don't perform the way you had hoped in snatch, it's not over. There's still a lot to be gained in the clean and jerk. And so, you know, when I'm teaching my athletes and they're bummed about one event, I tell them it's not the end. You know, you got to think about the total.
All right. We have the second athlete in the session from Canada, 1 of 2. Crystal Narlum, opening at 125 kilograms. Sorry, this is her second attempt. My apologies.
Yeah, and on the first, I think she had a bit of a struggle on clean. This time it was the jerk.
Well, she has 1 attempt left. That was a 5-kilo jump up on her opener. She did open at 120. I thought maybe we hadn't seen her before, but it had just been a number of attempts because we have so many athletes grouped between 120 and 125 on attempts. It had just been 10, 15 minutes since we'd seen her.
Which can really affect the athlete.
Yeah. Tell me more about that. I mean, Danny, you have certainly been in situations at international competitions yourself as an athlete and many times as a coach as well, where with very competitive sessions, athletes might have to wait 10, sometimes 15 minutes between attempts.
And I hate it. I absolutely hate it. I hate it as an athlete. You know, there's a rhythm you create back there in the warm-up area where you are increasing weight every 3 minutes. Let's say it's easier if I describe it that way for people at home. Every 3 minutes you're firing. Every 3 minutes you're firing, and you're taking your way up into the first attempt, and then to have to wait 15. Every coach has different philosophies on what to do with that time. Some may prefer their athletes to sit and do nothing, but I worry that might make the athlete cold. Many athletes prefer to do something and stay loose, but you don't want to burn energy and you don't want to be tired. So what do? Some coaches will execute what we call waves. With that much time, they will drop weight in the back and then climb once again until it's their time to go again. Others may just say, let's pick a weight that's not too difficult, and we'll repeat it over and over every 3 minutes, like I just described, until your name is called.
What is it? Does your philosophy with that change depending on the athlete?
Yeah. When they're beginners, I call the shots on that, and we'll say, this is what we're going to do. And I tend to stay at one weight. If it's really long, I'll practice a wave. However, to answer your question directly, when the athlete becomes more experienced, I allow them to call the shots on that because they're more in tune, they're more aware. Beginners and intermediate, they don't quite know. They're figuring it out. That's the whole beauty of experience and going to these competitions and developing. But the more experienced that they are, the more advanced, they call the shots on that. And I ask them, athlete, what is it that you want to do with this time? And I'll put it on the barbell for them.
All right, well, Crystal Narlum, third and final attempt, 125, made 120 on her opener, missed 125 on her second attempt. This, her third and final attempt in the clean and jerk.
That was a rushed jerk, probably for some reason or another, and it's forward.
Well, she will go 2 for 6 on the day. She does post a total, which is important in scoring for Team Canada. However, maybe not the total she was hoping for. Let's check out this replay. Now, just a reminder at home, this is the first competition of qualifying for the Pan Am Games in 2019, and athletes do score points for their best snatches, clean and jerks, and totals. So bomb outs especially painful for teams that are trying to secure spots for the 2019 Pan Am Games.
Correct.
All right, this brings up Diana Chirinos of Venezuela. Second attempt, 4 kilos up on her opener. Again, taking that wide jerk grip, but making it work for her.
Yeah, if we can get a replay there from the front, I will tell you something that stands out to me in this lift is what I call, or what we refer to as, the bar whip for the jerk. After this clean, she sets up and she'll dip into the jerk and quickly come out of it to create a bend of the barbell.
Are you saying a bar bend?
That's exactly what I'm saying. I was hoping you'd pick up on that, Dave. I just set you up, man. Completely set you up.
Yeah, I'd be remiss right now not to mention bar bend. USA is weightlifting's official media partner.
But that's really advantageous for the athlete. They can perform more weight, or at least elevate more weight. You almost use the bar against itself. It's not too difficult to master once the athlete gets the feel of it. It's a sensation. It's a timing with that bar.
And at what weight do you see that oscillation? Do you see athletes starting to be able to take advantage of that oscillation for the women's barbell, which is obviously a different diameter than the men's?
Yeah, it's lighter. You could start. You actually see it early. You see it light. It really depends on the frame of the athlete as well. The wider they are, you may not be able to see it as distinctively. The smaller the athlete, maybe they're able to create that whip, but you could see it as light as 65, 70 kilos. It's really slight, but even if you can't see it, the athlete does feel it.
All right, Alejandra Garza of Mexico, third and final attempt, 126.
She's been busy. You can see that.
All
yeah,
right.
lost the legs, lost her breath there. for those at home, that wasn't giving up. I can't imagine the athlete changed their mind and said, "I'm not going to try."
After doing the hardest part of the lift.
Yeah, that's definitely not it. You can see some shakiness in her legs. You can see her lose her chest a little bit there. I'm thinking she just got dizzy. See, right here she sets up, she kind of sits back, and then her head kind of wobbles. Her legs start to go. That could be a breath issue, oxygen issue, or placement of the bar.
All right, this will bring up Marie-Eve Beauchemin of Canada. Her second attempt. 127 kilos. Now we're getting to the point right now where all of the rest of the clean and jerks in the competition are going to matter and potentially have medal implications.
Yes.
This would move her into first place overall, potentially temporarily, depending on how other lifts pan out, but she's the first to take 127 kilograms.
We're going to start seeing a lot of changes in the back lump area now. Great start to that lift. Ton of control off the floor. Easy jerk.
I'll tell you,
This is getting exciting, man.
both of her clean and jerks have looked really solid. She's got more in the tank.
Yeah. Yeah, and that control, there isn't a lifter out there that enjoys a slow-moving barbell. But when you are beginning a lift, getting that barbell moving takes greater energy than what it does when it's already moving. And so athletes tend to, under that duress, kind of panic, and they rush it. Mechanics change because they want to get some speed out of the barbell, but that could cost them later. With Canada there, you can see that she did not deviate. It was really good control off the ground.
All right, 3 white lights for Fuentes. Let's see that again from the front. It looked like maybe she wasn't sure if they were going to give that one to her. She still has one more attempt left after this, actually. And as Danny mentioned, we are going to see a lot of changes here because with the new with the elimination of the bodyweight rule.
Yeah, maybe a shakiness to the right arm, which might leave some in doubt, but
that looked pretty good to me.
Yeah.
With the elimination of the bodyweight rule, it is not enough to tie a competitor. You have to hit it first, or you have to beat them by a kilogram.
Yeah.
Okay, so we have Tamara Salazar, who is coming out and taking 127 kilograms. So this would not move her into first for the clean and jerk. She and her coaches might be looking at that overall medal stand, the total here, and the clean and jerk. All right.
Tough one on that one. I mean, she climbed, what was that? Is that 5 kilos?
Yep.
That could be very significant. We're talking nearly 11 pounds in an event after maybe sitting for a while. But like you said, she had to make that call to try to total higher and place her as high as possible.
And with that, we only have 4 lifters left in this session. Only 6 attempts. So each one of these clean and jerks you have to think will have potential medal implications, and this does bring out the opening attempt of Nehesi Dahomez. 128 kilograms. This would move her into first in the clean and jerk, and overall, she does come into this with a 7-kilo lead after the snatch portion, which is pretty significant.
And a new Pan American record.
Yeah. Good day for her so far.
What a dynamic lift for Nacy. You used the term, she has got more in the tank. She certainly does. I think that ballistic nature of her movement is just so impressive. Like on the snatch, the way that she's moving her feet, the timing of the barbell. I mean, flawless right now.
Yeah. Well, it's really becoming a battle for second
Yeah.
because she has such a significant lead coming out of that snatch portion. It's going to be tough for anyone to catch her. The silver medalist in the snatch was Monique Lima of Brazil. She bombed out in the clean and jerk.
Yes.
So this is pretty much on Nacy's terms.
Yep. You know, and there's a point where athlete and coach, when you are up against an athlete that's that far ahead, like you said, it's a battle for second. I was in that situation yesterday with Maddie Rogers. You know, all my decisions were really just making sure that we can own that second place finish because the Colombian competitor was just out of our league yesterday.
A lot of the Colombian competitors have been
Yeah.
out of people's leagues this week.
Yeah, very dominant of a team. And, you know, interestingly enough, there aren't any in this session, in this class. They're not represented in this class.
I think the next one we'll see is they have a super heavyweight male.
Yeah. Great elevation. This is huge for her.
All right, that wide, almost snatch width grip.
Yeah.
But it works for her, and with that, she moves into second place in the clean and jerk, and overall, she is guaranteed a medal.
Yeah.
It's really, whether that is going to be silver or bronze is going to be up to the Canadian,
Yep.
Marie Eve.
Yeah, I'm looking at, if I'm not mistaken, that last lift put her second total, temporarily first in clean and jerk.
That's correct, yeah. So she is guaranteed a clean and jerk. She's guaranteed a clean and jerk medal. We don't know what color that's going to be.
Yeah,
And
don't
she's
know yet.
guaranteed a total medal. We don't know what color that's going to be.
Yeah. And she had a great performance, 5 out of 6, and she's got to be in the back now just waiting to see the outcome of the other competitors, which can be stressful.
All right, this is a situation where Marie she's familiar with this. She's a veteran international competitor. She knows how to make lifts when they count. So let's see how she fares here with 130 kilograms on the barbell. This is for an overall medal and a clean and jerk medal.
Yeah, she's sitting in 4th at the moment. She's halfway there. She sells it.
All right, 3 white lights.
Lift.
And that was clutch. With that, she stays in 4th overall, but is currently first in the clean and jerk.
Yeah, yeah, and she was 6th in the snatch. So, right now, going home with some hardware is a good feeling for her.
All right, this brings up Fuentes, currently sitting in 3rd overall. All right, Fuentes, the lifter of Mexico, sitting in 3rd overall. It'll be a no lift for her.
Just couldn't come out of that clean.
So she will have to settle for 3rd in the snatch and 3rd overall. She will not medal in the clean and jerk, but 2 bronze medals. Not a bad day of work for her.
Yeah, I think it's very successful. And now, you're down to 1. You're down to Nacy, and she's already captured the win.
Now, Nacy is your overall winner, and she is your gold medalist in the snatch. Currently sitting in 3rd position in the clean and jerk. She can change that with this lift.
Yeah, and go gold across the board.
And it's also worth noting that the junior Pan American record in the clean and jerk is 136.
Ah.
So depending on how this lift goes, we might see her go for yet another record today.
Well, yeah, look at her first attempt was 128. This is 131. Only 3 kilos. You're thinking, why only 3? Well, because this is going to be gold in the clean and jerk. After this, she'll have one more attempt, and you're right, David, maybe she takes a huge jump. It's worth the shot at this point. it. Gold, gold, gold.
All right. Well, she has guaranteed herself gold across the board. The question is
What does she do? What does she do? I know what I would do. I'd like to see this record attempt. You know, you locked up gold across the board. You have one lift left. This is where you turn to the athlete and say, "What do you want to do?" Right? I mean, it's for them at this point. And you know, she's already done her job for points for her country.
And actually, Danny, I was just reminded off camera, she's currently sitting on a 241 total.
Okay.
The total record, she could go for 2 records here.
Right.
Because the total record is 243. So it looks like if 135 is on the bar and she takes this will not break the clean and jerk record.
But the total.
But the total for the junior as far as junior Pan American records.
Right. It'd be very interesting to see. So, you know, now oh, she's went up to 140 there. I was about to say, you know, what do you do? Do you, you know, do you stay conservative and get 1 record, or do you get aggressive and get 2?
No, she's going aggressive.
Yeah.
There's no playing around here. This would, by the way, if she makes this lift, she would be the first lifter this week to set 3 new Pan American records.
Wow.
In one competition. This would give her new records across the board.
Wow.
And it's worth noting, she has another year of eligibility as a junior. So you have to think whether or not she makes this.
So much ahead of her.
These records might not stand for too long.
Yeah, yeah.
All right, she is your champion across the board, gold medal snatch, clean and jerk total. This is for glory.
Yeah, I'm going to, you know, say that the way she's looking right now, I would fully anticipate her to make this lift. However, the only thing she's got stacked against her is the time frame.
Yeah.
She only had a 2-minute clock. They stopped the clock by adjusting and increasing the weight, which is the process. This is what you do. But was it enough time? Is it enough time to recover? We're about to find out.
She looks ready. 35 seconds on the clock. She gets composed. This is also to go 6 for 6 on the day. Lifter from Ecuador. Oh.
It was worth it, man.
Let's take another look at that from the side. Well, she only walks away with 1 new Pan American record.
Oh, yeah,
today.
you know, only.
You know, if I were her, I'd probably still sleep soundly tonight.
I think so. Her coaches should be very, very proud. You know, it's worth the shot to go aggressive.
And the clean wasn't bad. She lost a little bit of that upright position in the bottom. The speed was good. The bar's plenty high. So we have to think that she'll be taking another crack at that